Federal High Court sentences 12 Filipinos to 1 year imprisonment each for cybercrime. First Chief of Army Staff Biannual Conference ends with commitment to flush out marauding terrorists. Attention on construction of good roads is to open economic corridors for the nation, says Minister of State for Works. Hello and thanks for joining us on the news at 11 on NTA News 24. I'm Zenret Dingmon. Now, the first Chief of Army Staff Biannual Conference has ended successfully in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, with a series of resolutions adopted, especially the urgent need for field commanders and frontline troops to flush out marauding terrorists. Abubakar Musa reports.
The Chief of Army Staff First Three-Day Biannual Conference 2025 is a critical platform for leadership of the Army and participants generally to assess execution of operations, training activities, as well as key strategic decisions that aligns with the Army's constitutional mandate. Declaring the event open, Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede challenged participants to consider the program as an opportunity to brainstorm and evaluate ongoing efforts in counter-terrorism, counter-insurgency, banditry, and other high-risk security operations.
During the use of topical issues, our goal is to identify areas of improvement and develop practical solutions.
It is expected that deliberations during the conference will address logistical support, operational deployments, and other key areas, ensuring every facet of the Army's operations is optimized for maximum efficiency while enhancing troops' morale through sound administration. The Chief of Army Staff later handed over 5 new military combat vehicles to the theater commander to augment ongoing efforts of frontline troops in countering violent extremism in Maiduguri. Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
No fewer than 20 suspects are currently in the custody of the Department of State Services and the Nigerian Police Force in Abuja for hacking the 2025 computer-based test examinations conducted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board. The suspects are part of a syndicate believed to have over 100 persons who specialize in hacking the computer servers of examination bodies like JAMB and the National Examinations Council, NECO. Security sources disclosed that the suspects have confessed to sabotaging the computer-based tests system in order to discredit JAMB and discourage students from using CBT for future WAEC and NECO examinations. The strategy of the hackers involved mounting routers within the vicinity of the targeted CBT centers, which in turn overrides JAMB's platforms at the centers, making it easy for the special candidates who paid to get answers to the questions. The entire hacking process was to influence high scores for special candidates who paid between the sums of 700,000 and 2 million naira. Now, preliminary investigations reveal that several members of the syndicate own private schools and colleges and make huge sums of money from their special centers. They fear that fully integrating WAEC and NECO for CBT type of examinations will ruin their illegal business. Now, in a bold move to diversify Nigeria's economy and create jobs, the federal government has reiterated its commitment to constructing good roads that will open economic corridors for the nation. The Minister of State for Works, Bello Muhammad Goronyo, stated this at the 16th meeting of the National Council on Industry, Trade and Investment in Lagos. Usman Zubairu reports.
Nigeria has found itself in a situation where there is an urgent need to diversify the country's economy from over-reliance on a single economic resource. The renewal agenda on road infrastructure is one of the drivers by the President Tinubu's administration to open economic prosperity across the country. Minister of State for Works Bello Muhammad Guranyu at the 16th meeting of the National Council of Industry, Trade and Investment in Lagos State said the Federal Ministry of Works has since embarked on revamping all critical federal routes to open for increased economic activities as well as free movement of goods and services.
We recognize that good roads are not just conduits of movement. They are arteries of economic growth, pathways to prosperities, and bridges to connect communities and opportunities.
While acknowledging the commitment and the resilience of the Federal Ministry of Industry and Trade and Investment for holding the meeting, Bello Guranyu said there is an urgent need to diversify Nigeria's economic policy agenda for sustenance and future relevance in the global economy.
Let me add that the road infrastructure is a great driver to the GDP of any nation. Therefore, I must commend Mr. President very highly for giving road infrastructure its rightful place so that our economy can grow.
The theme for this year's meeting is accelerating diversification to rebuild prosperity by leveraging in industry, trade and investment for shared prosperity. Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
Now, beyond certificates, the federal government is equipping university graduates with skills to explore opportunities in the renewable energy space. Now, Joshua Ojito reports that the Rural Electrification Agency, the National Power Training Institute of Nigeria, NAPTIN, and renewable energy developers are driving the initiative to empower 130 participants in the first phase.
Nigeria has a huge market for renewable energy, but with inadequate manpower to drive the energy transition plan. Now, Rural Electrification Agency, the National Power Training Institute of Nigeria, NAPTIN, and renewable energy developer are raising manpower for the renewable energy sector with training of graduates of higher institutions of learning with skills as next generation of renewable energy service companies.
What I think we should do is to go ahead on aggressive engagement on how, where the young people of this country can be skilled or upskill their skills.
To make Nigeria the renewable hub of Africa is to now ensure that we localize the manufacturing value chain.
So when you look at the renewable energy space, we have not even occupied 50% of the human capital required. So there is a strong linkage as far as what we are all gathered here today to make sure that we bring out youth that will be well skilled, to really operate and maintain the renewable, energy infrastructure.
We cannot truly scale if we do not have the right people, we do not have competent people to be able to receive resources, manage resources, build infrastructure, manage infrastructure.
130 youths selected across the country out of more than 10,000 applicants will be trained for 9 months. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga has concluded high-level bilateral talks in Berlin with his German counterpart, Minister Johann Wadephul, aimed at deepening Nigeria-Germany relations across key sectors focused on energy, trade and migration governance. Now, a statement by the Foreign Affairs Minister's aide, Al-Qasim Abdul-Qadir, says Germany recognizes Nigeria as its second largest trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa. While reviewing the progress in bilateral engagements, particularly in the German-Nigerian Energy Partnership, which was established in 2008 and expanded in 2021 with the opening of a hydrogen office in Abuja under the Germany's National Hydrogen Strategy. Both ministers agree that the Nigeria, Germany and the EU have tremendous opportunities for cooperation in critical minerals, energy transition and engage the private sector. As part of his official visit to Germany, both ministers affirmed the importance of aligning economic development with mutually beneficial migration frameworks that support job creation and skills mobility. Minister Tuga also met with Nicolas Zipelius, member of the German Parliament and newly appointed chair of the CDU Parliamentary Group, on development affairs, where they discussed areas to explore on legislative opportunities for enhanced collaboration between Nigeria and Germany, parliamentary advisories and policy actions within the budget stack. Tuga formally has been invited to participate in the 2025 Berlin Global Dialogue scheduled for October. Now, the Presidential Initiative on Unlocking the Health Care Value Chain, PVAC, has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting local enterprises in the fight against Nigeria's persistently high maternal mortality rate. And during a recent visit to System Engineering, a Kano-based manufacturer of calibrated drapes, PVAC National Coordinator Dr. Abdul Mokhtar highlighted the critical role such innovations can play in improving maternal health outcomes. He expressed confidence that the widespread adoption of these calibrated drapes designed to measure and manage postpartum hemorrhage by accurately monitoring blood loss during and after childbirth could significantly reduce maternal deaths, particularly in underserved communities.
So that's why we're here, really, to understand what you're doing and say what can we do to support you to increase capacity.
The regulatory section. PVAC has really injected fuel in the SON process just recently, just like you said, because about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago, the working group was just pushed.
They also urged the federal government to intensify efforts in creating a more supportive business environment and improve infrastructure to enable local manufacturers compete effectively with international firms. We'll take a break now. There'll be more reports when we return.
NTA Television College Jos, you will dive into exhilarating hands that will fuel your passion in education and propel your career to new heights. We don't just teach, we craft the next generation of media leaders. Explore our diverse offering, understanding the personnel matters and issues in the public service basic development communication, financial reporting under IPSAS and interpretation of public sector accounting standard IPSAS, audit, internal check and control management, video camera maintenance, new technologies, optics, fiber, IP technologies, automation, storage management, and wireless technology. Challenges and opportunities in the secretarial profession in the digital age. Digital marketing, basic drama, online reporting, understanding the provisions of the revised public service, audio engineering operations and maintenance, camera operations, and intermediate drama. Mark your calendar. The second quarter of 2025 is your launch pad. This is your moment to seize the future. Announcer Management.
Thanks for staying tuned. And the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has commended the Governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, for the proactive re-establishment of the Kaduna State Ministry of Information. In a statement, the minister described the development as a landmark decision coming a decade after its dissolution and aligns with the minister's clarion call at the December 2024 National Council on Information meeting, where states were urged to prioritize the revitalization or creation of information ministries to strengthen governance, public engagement, and national unity. The minister added that the revival of Kaduna's Ministry of Information will enhance synergy between federal and state information agencies, enabling seamless coordination on national priorities such as security, health, education, and economic reforms. And as journalists, do your job professionally and uphold the core moral tenets of the profession by being at the forefront of building a strong democracy. Now, these were the words of the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, while playing host to the National Executive of the Nigerian Union of Journalists. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
The new wind blowing the nation's media ecosystem under the leadership of a veteran journalist who is also on active duty as the nation's #1 reporter is endearing different professional associations. One of the frontline professional groups, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, is here to show solidarity to the ongoing reforms.
My passion and love for being in this position is to see how I can be an advocate for a better Nigeria through sensitizing and educating journalists on the importance of prioritizing issues of national security and national interest.
June 21st has been fixed for the celebration of our 70th anniversary. We clocked 70 in March this year.
The #1 spokesman reaffirmed that under President Tinubu's leadership, there is no alternative to press freedom and reminded members of the pen profession about the dangers of fake news due to the proliferation of unqualified media practitioners.
This profession is a highly respected one, and it is up to you to uphold it as such. You are media professionals. You are not beggars, you are professionals. Please hold yourselves as professionals and not beggars. Don't beg anybody for anything. Do your job and let respect return to this profession. What you stand for is to the improvement of our country, and that is what also government is there for. So at least we have a point of convergence, and that point of convergence should be our guiding light in everything that we do together to make Nigeria better.
He challenged members of the media to complement government's efforts towards the establishment of UNESCO Category 2 Media and Literacy Institute by also condemning and reporting conveyors of misinformation. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a 2-day retreat for the management staff of the Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) Northwestern Zone concluded in Dutse with a commitment to fostering greater collaboration among NTA stations in the zone and the country at large. On the retreat aimed at strengthening content development and enhancing news production featured a keynote address by Professor Umar Pate, a leading expert in broadcast media. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
In his keynote address, Professor Umar Pate underscored the dynamic nature of the broadcast industry, highlighting the urgent need for practitioners to evolve in step with rapid technological advancements and shifting audience behaviors. To address these challenges, the retreat focused on key strategies with a strong emphasis on strengthening intra- and interzonal synergy amongst the NTA stations across the country.
They must continuously brainstorm on media economics and management for issue of sustainability. The whole thing is about what? It's about funding, technology, content, credibility to manage fake news, disinformation and all of that. And about resilience, being able to survive irrespective of the difficulties.
Participants explored ways to enhance content quality, attract wider audiences, and harness new technologies to improve programming for effective and efficient NTS broadcasting.
We are going back to start thinking how to improve how we are running our activities, production, news, and the rest, and to bring about content that will sustain the interests of our viewers in Katsina and beyond.
He showed us so many ways that we can, if we follow, our staff will be able to go to with their competitors, the competitors we have, to come with so many content and produce a very enlightenment and educative programs.
The retreat is timely considering the fact that NTA is trying to reposition itself to meet the global broadcasting challenges of the contemporary period.
As the retreat concluded, the NTA Northwestern Zonal Management staff reaffirmed their commitments to transforming operational practices to meet the present-day audience demands within the global broadcasting space. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Now, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has convicted and sentenced 12 Filipinos to 1 year imprisonment each for cyber-terrorism and internet fraud. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission arraigned the defendants on separate counts of possession of fraudulent documents. In view of their guilty pleas, Justice Bogoro convicted and sentenced the defendants with option of fine of 1 million naira each. The court also ordered the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service to ensure that the convicts are repatriated to their country of origin within 7 days upon completion of their sentences. The devices recovered from the defendants were also forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria. And this is the news at 11 on NTA News 24, and here's a track of our major stories.
Joint the use of tropical issues are known to identify areas of improvement.
This is NTA News 24.
Kogi State Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has again demonstrated his commitment in tackling insecurity by presenting 16 operational vehicles to security agencies to enhance their operations. And the vehicles were presented through the Kogi State Security Trust Fund at the Government House, Lokoja. Ajibola Christopher reports.
The 16 security operational vehicles are presented to the police, civil defense, the Vigilante Service, Nigerian Immigration Service, and Correctional Services. State Chairman, Security Trust Fund, Air Vice Marshal Omeza Umar expresses gratitude to Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo for his commitment in strengthening the operational capacities of security agencies through the initiatives of the State Security Trust Fund.
Today's event is a testimony to our collective determination to support the security architecture of our dear state.
The chairman further appreciates the security agencies for their untiring effort in carrying out their duties and sacrifices, saying that the vehicles are essential tools in security operations.
Let me assure all stakeholders that the Kogi State Security Trust Fund remains committed to its mandate. We will continue to explore innovative means supporting our security framework.
Kogi State Governor, represented by the Director, Government House Administration, Fumilayo Bello, commends Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo for making sure he delivers on his mandate for the people of Kogi State.
I just want to appreciate His Excellency for releasing funds for these vehicles to refurbish. And the Chairman, Kogi State Security too, added his own funds, went into banks, and we have seen some banks that are represented here, able to talk to us. They have been contributors too.
Benefiting security operatives bear their minds.
This information would go a long way in enhancing security situation in the state.
In Lokoja, Ajibola Christopher, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has distributed food items to widows in the state to demonstrate his dedication to supporting the most vulnerable members of the society. The governor noted that the struggles of the widows in the state cannot be forgotten, assuring them that he was not going to politicize their affairs but prioritize their flares and wipe their tears to replace with opportunities. The governor in a statement states, "Today we share food, clothes and financial support, but beyond this, we are laying the foundation for something greater, the support system that includes skills, training access to health care, small business funding, and education for young children. He also thanked them for taking the cause of the widows in the state as a sacred duty. He further appreciated his wife, Sefinat Ododo, and the wife of the President, Remi Tinubu, for their unwavering commitment to the success and welfare of women in Kogi State. And President Bola Tinubu rejoices with Magnus Abe, a prominent politician, lawyer, and former senator representing Rivers Southeastern Rural District, on his 60th birthday. In a statement, the president highlights Abe's contributions to the country and his commitment to promoting peace and unity not only in Rivers but in the entire Niger Delta region. The president notes Senator Abe's invaluable work as Commissioner for Information and Secretary to the government in Rivers from 2003 to 2007. President Tinubu describes Abe as a political ally who has continued to partner with him in his cravings for a stronger, economically viable, and more united Nigeria under his renewed hope agenda. And that concludes the news at 11, coming to you from NTA News 24. Thanks for watching.